Did it go live?
We are live.
Sorry, guys. I got caught up trying to transfer over and put Instagram Live on there. Wow, how fun. Hello, everybody. Happy it is Wednesday today. I am here on behalf of TMDSAS. My name is Brianna Beats. I am an applicant liaison and resource developer. And with me today is...
I am Sally, and I am also one of the applicant liaisons with TMDSAS.
All right, and we are going to touch base today on a few topic areas that we are getting some frequently asked questions about, including your letters of evaluation, test scores like MCAT and DAT, and we're going to talk a little bit about reviewing your PCR and some other applicable things for post-submission. If you've submitted your TMDSAS application, we'll go over some things that can and cannot be changed after submission. So thank you for joining us. You can feel free at any time to type a question out in the chat, and we will get to those as well. All right, first up on the list here, letters of evaluation. Sally is going to drop a link to the application guide. The TMDSAS application guide is your best resource for filling out the application, and even after you've submitted the application, consulting that application guide for all sorts of questions that you may have. Definitely go through that resource. The letters of evaluation page within the application guide has some frequently asked questions and answers there as well. But a question we get a lot is, do you have to submit your letters before, or have your letters in before submitting your TMDSAS application? And the short answer is no, you don't. You can submit your TMDSAS application without having those letters in, but you do have to complete the information required in that section of the application in order to move forward with your application. So have your information for your letter writers, whether that's an HPAC or individual letter writers, have that information and have it entered, as well as what method of upload, whether it's direct upload or interfolio, evaluation form. You'll just indicate that there. And also consider your timeline of when those letters are going to be coming in. So if you're submitting your application, and you know that your letters will be coming in, rolling in, and getting to TMDSAS within a few weeks, then you're timing everything out pretty succinctly so that the schools do have those letters eventually. And another question here concerning letters is, how do I change my letter writer after I've submitted? So you can switch your evaluator, letter writer, to another person as long as TMDSAS has not already received and approved the letter from the current evaluator that you have listed. So approved letters cannot be replaced or removed. Go to, if you have a letter that hasn't come in yet, and perhaps that's why you need to change your letter writer, is because you know for some reason that person is no longer able to have a letter for you, then you can go to the letters of evaluation section in the application and click on edit on the placeholder there to make changes and save it. And for some reason, if you're having difficulty making those changes, you could always send an IM to TMDSAS, an instant message, just by logging in to the portal. You can send an instant message with the information about which letter writer you're removing, and the new letter writer information, which you can find the specifics for that in the application guide. All right, we have quite a few people joining on Instagram Live and a couple here on YouTube, so cool. Welcome, everyone. Again, you can submit your questions if you have any, and we will get to those in a few minutes. All right, continuing on with letters of evaluation questions. Folks who maybe received a message from TMDSAS about their letter being rejected after it has been submitted and wondering how their evaluator can re-upload the letter. You just need to let your evaluator know that the corrected letter needs to be submitted the same way it was uploaded initially. So if they use the direct upload method, then just let them know they can use the same link in the original email if needing access back into that evaluator portal. If they don't have access to that initial email request for whatever reason, just have your evaluator email us at info@tmdsas.com so we can resend the evaluator portal link. And if you are curious about the current processing times for letters, we get a lot of calls and messages about that. There's no need to call or message about that because you can find this information directly on the TMDSAS website. That's tmdsas.com. Right on our homepage is going to be a list of our current processing times for direct uploads, Interfolio, and we have the date that we're currently processing. And as a general reminder, direct uploads, we ask that you allow up to 10 business days. It's business days, so not including weekends and holidays. So allow up to 10 business days before inquiring, but also check the current processing time, see what date we're on, because during peak cycle, which is what we're currently in peak cycle, we can have longer wait times for confirmation of uploading those documents. And Interfolio, 14 business days for letters to be processed, approved, and uploaded. Mailed letters, snail mail can take a little bit longer, so just know that. And some folks may experience issues if they are sending their letters in Interfolio in multiple deliveries, because Interfolio moves your submission date for all submitted letters to the latest delivery date that you've chosen, so it can actually push your letters back. Is there anything else I'm missing or blanking on, Sally, as far as letters?
I don't think so.
Sweet. Okay. Check that off the list. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about test scores. Sally is going to drop a link to the application guide page talking about test scores. Ooh, Sally, can we put that in the comments chat? I think you put the links in the private chat.
Yep, I did.
I was like, I know where those pages are.
One.
Sweet. All right, so with test scores, start with the commonly asked questions there. I released my score, but it still says not received on my status page. So that's when you're logging into your application, looking at the status page, checking the status of your test scores. You need to first make sure that you've entered all of the information correctly. So that's double checking your test date that you've entered in the TMDSAS application. That's checking the AAMC ID or your DENT PIN, whether you are, hi Sally, welcome back. That's checking your information there, whether you're taking an MCAT or a DAT and you're entering that information. Just make sure that all of those numbers match up, basically, including your test dates, your PIN number or AAMC ID, and your date of birth. Make sure it's the same on your application and either your ADA or AAMC accounts. Just make sure all of that information is correct and identical. Otherwise, your score will not upload to your application, even if you released your score. It's what we call a mismatch. So that could be an issue if you are like, I released my score, and where is it? I can't see it. Check that information first and foremost. And if you find that one of those pieces of information is incorrect, either in your TMDSAS application or with ADA or AAMC, then make the changes in your application, and then you'll give it about 36 hours for the system to receive your score. And you'll just always be able to see that checking your status page. If for some reason you can't correct any mismatched information yourself within your TMDSAS application, go ahead and send us an instant message. And very important to note that you do have to fill out the demographics section of the application and, save and continue in order for your date of birth to be in the application. So say you're still working on your application and haven't submitted yet, and if you haven't finished the demographics section, that would be a reason why your scores aren't releasing and showing up within that time frame. All right, so for the MCAT, it takes 36 hours from the moment you released it for it to show on your application. And the status then changes on your status page from not received to the actual date of receipt. And then, of course, once those test dates have been updated in the system, the schools will receive these updates as well, usually overnight. When it comes to the MCAT scores, we do get applicants asking about how the schools may view their application if they've submitted, it's been transmitted, but they have pending scores and they're waiting for their MCAT score to be released. Just remember that the TMDSAS schools conduct that holistic review process. So they're looking at elements of your application. Of course, eventually they're going to need that metric as well, the MCAT score. So just consider your own personal timeline, similar to letters. Consider when you're submitting and how long it takes for your information to get to the schools, and that those scores are a part of the metrics of the school it is part of the metrics the schools will want to see. All right. And for the DAT, for our dental applicants, remember that you're releasing your score to one of the TMDSAS dental schools, and then kind of by proxy, it releases to your TMDSAS application. And we have had some applicants having issues with their test scores not releasing. And if you can confirm that all of your information is correct in the TMDSAS application, you are going to want to reach out to ADA because it isn't anything on our end that we can adjust or help fix. It's going to be about how your score is releasing directly from them. So you're going to want to get in contact with their help services. Right. And some folks have been asking us about Casper testing and Casper scores. There is a link within the application guide that in the after submission section we'll drop in the chat. But just remember that your Casper scores aren't releasing to TMDSAS, and so we don't have anything to do with that process. You don't release your scores to us, so you are going to want to direct your questions about Casper testing either to Casper support, which is in that link in the application guide. It's like support@casper.com, support@takecasper.com, or perhaps you may be needing to speak to the individual school or schools that you're applying to. Not every school requires Casper, but that page in the application guide, that after submitting page, will give you a list of the schools that do require Casper testing. I have a question here on Instagram that says, if I submit the application without letters, then I will add it later. Is it all right? Yeah, so that's kind of what we were talking about in the first section. You are entering your letter writer information at least, and you finish your application and submit it. And then whenever you're able to get those letters, even already indicated through what method they're coming in. So yes, you can submit without the letters, and yes, you're adding them. You have until a deadline of October. Yeah, take it away, Sally.
October 15th is when we have our deadline to make sure that you have all letters of evaluation uploaded, or they must be postmarked by this date. However, if you are part of the early decision groups or early decision programs, you need to make sure that you have all of your documents, including those letters, in by August 15th.
Absolutely. All right, looks like we have a question about the DAT score. Can I submit application without DAT score? Yes, you can. You will just be entering your planned test date there within that section of the application as you fill out the application. And then you can always adjust that information later if you needed to. Say you ended up taking a different test date, a different planned test date. You can always edit that information, but yeah, you can submit your application without your DAT score. All right. So next we're going to talk about some important factors for if you've hit submit, you submitted your TMDSAS application, and your application has been transmitted to the schools and you get that confirmation email from TMDSAS. Then what now, right? The most important thing you're going to want to do, or one of the most important things, is to review your PCR. That's the prescribed coursework report. And there's some pretty specific information in the application guide about what that is and how to view it. So the PCR only shows from your coursework, from all of the coursework you've entered, it only shows those courses that are coded as prerequisites in those certain coursework areas: English, statistics, biology, biochemistry, chemistry, organic chemistry, physics. Those are the prerequisite course areas. And then there is a couple of other areas there listed on the PCR as well that are for communications and engineering. Though those aren't direct requirements, TMDSAS requirements, they may be individual requirements for certain schools and programs, which is why they're on there. But yeah, so you're looking at those prerequisite hours. That report basically just tells you if you are deficient in any of those prerequisite coursework areas. You can see it from that report. And there is a video I did, No Stress App Tips video, that further breaks down the PCR. Some more information for you there if you have time to check that out. Oh, I wonder if I can't link another YouTube.
I don't think so.
Huh. Well, it's on this YouTube channel under the section entitled Shorts. You'll see some other app tips there as well, but there is one specifically about the PCR. If perhaps you've retaken a course for a better grade, and so in that coursework information section, as you were filling out the application, you answered no to the question, was this the last time you've taken this course? Say, for example, you took general chemistry course, and then you ended up taking that same exact course for a better grade later. The first entry you have in your coursework will show no to last time taken, and then the second entry you have, say you took a junior year for a better grade, then it'll be yes, that's the last time you took the course. So both of those would then show up on the PCR, but any courses that are marked no to last time taken don't count towards the deficiency. So you'll see a column there with the last time taken, and that's what that means. And very important, any coursework with a grade of NY, a grade that hasn't been received yet because it's in the future, so your fall plan coursework you've entered. Say you've got some courses there that you know are going to fulfill those TMDSAS requirements, but of course you don't have the grade yet. So any of that in progress coursework or plan coursework is not factoring towards that deficiency. So you may see that you are so many hours deficient, but you know once that grade comes in for a certain course that you will no longer have a deficiency once those hours are counted into that calculation. So just know that once you enter that grade later on, you'll see it factored in and you can account for that. And for any of you who are taking coursework or have coursework at an institution that is on the quarter term system, the application does this conversion to semester hours after you've entered all your information. So this conversion happens within the system automatically, which is why you may see within any of these coursework areas, you might be a fraction of an hour deficient. Say in biochemistry is a bad example, it usually doesn't happen there, but chemistry or perhaps physics, it'll say like 0.06 hours deficient. Just know that those sort of fractional hour deficiencies listed on the PCR are pretty common for anyone with coursework at an institution where they operate on a quarter system. And it is usually not a concern to have such fractional deficiency in a course area. All right. And of course, like I mentioned before, if you go through that information in the application guide, it'll really help you out with understanding how to read your PCR. There's an example document. An important technical note, though, if you're unable to view yours when you're on that status page and clicking on your PCR to view it, make sure that you have allowed for pop-ups in your browser, your web browser, because it will, the PDF shows up as a pop-up. So make sure you have pop-ups allowed, and then you'll be able to see when that PDF of the PCR pops out. All right. We've been getting quite a few questions about GPA calculations. So just some helpful info there to consider is that your GPA may differ, that calculation may differ from what's on your university transcripts, mostly because TMDSAS includes all course attempts in your GPA, overall GPA, any of the GPAs that are calculated. There's several GPA calculations that are automatically happening in the background of the application system after you've entered your information. And oh, I see we have a question here. When can I update grades for next semester? As soon as you have those grades available. You're just logging back in to your dashboard and going to your coursework and entering those grades. So you'll be able to actually update that yourself on your end as soon as those grades become available. Okay. There is a link here that we're going to drop for the TMDSAS policies where you will find the official GPA calculation rules laid out in those policies. If you're curious, perhaps why your own calculation is off from what you're seeing within TMDSAS. All right, so I mentioned that those prerequisite coursework areas are on your PCR. That PCR document is not the only thing schools see. And I think some applicants perhaps get confused by this. The schools see all of your coursework that you've entered. The PCR is only those courses within those PCR coursework areas. So that's not everything the school's seeing, just so you know. And that your BCPM GPA isn't only what's on the PCR. Majority of those courses, except for like English coursework area, are factored into your BCPM GPA, but some other courses within your coursework that may have been coded as other science, if they're eligible for BCPM inclusion, then they are marked by your applicant liaison within your application. So your BCPM GPA may include other courses. Just so, yes. And there is also a link that is super helpful within the coursework section of the guide. So go to the coursework section of the application guide, and there is a special drop down that talks about BCPM GPA inclusion, what sort of courses are included in there that you can expect, and that will help you figure out as you're entering your coursework or as you're after your application has been transmitted, if you're trying to figure out what's factored into your BCPM GPA. All right. And last but not least, we're going to take some time now to talk about things that can and cannot be changed after submission. There is a super helpful chart in the after submitting page of the application guide. That chart will show you directly either yes or no for what can and can't be updated, or what would not be able to be changed but would be considered an update that could require an update letter. And that's all broken down for you to see visually within the guide. Short answer, though, for a few key topics that we get questions about. Can you update your coursework? Yes. If your application has been submitted, but you're still waiting for it to be transmitted, then you can actually go in and make adjustments yourself. Say you submit your application and realize you forgot some AP credits, or maybe you forgot to update add a course to a term, something like that. If anything looks off, you can go in there and add those courses. If your application has been transmitted to the schools, then your coursework terms are locked as we go through and verify your coursework. So you just have to send us an instant message. Just update us that you need a certain term unlocked so that you can go make those changes. And like I mentioned before, when Sophia asked about grades, yes, you can update any NY grades as soon as they come in. Whether you
for those NY grades, you don't need to send us a message to be able to update those. You'll be able to go into your coursework section to update those. It's the coursework that already has been verified, that has a grade, that we would have to unlock for you.
Correct. Yeah. So like an example would be, I know I saw a message that someone had put the wrong number of credit hours and I think the wrong grade as well for one of their term courses, and they only realized it after the app had been transmitted. And so they were like, hey, I need to change this. Then we can unlock it for you. But yeah, if you have updated grades, you can enter those by yourself on your own by going into the application whenever those grades are available. And with colleges attended, yes, you are able to change that after submission. Say you realize that you're going to be taking some courses at some post-bac courses and you need to add those, you can do that. Activities, we get a lot of questions about this. No, you cannot update your activities after submitting your application. So make sure you have everything you need in there listed in your activities, but no, those can't be updated. Same with essays. Essays cannot be updated after you submit. That's it. They're locked in. As far as activities go, if you have major adjustments to your activities, major changes or adjustments, what you can do is create your own one-page addendum. Say you're adding activities or certain things have changed between now and the time you interview. Just create your own one-pager that lays that information out, and you bring it with you to the schools. But TMDSAS, you cannot change your activities after submission or your essays. You can always add more schools that you want to apply to. If your application has been transmitted, but you realize that you want to apply to a few more of the TMDSAS schools, just message us and let us know and send an IM, and we'll add those schools to your application, transmit those schools, transmit to the schools your application that you want to add. And your contact information, yes. Test dates, yes. And letters, yes, if not already received or approved. Okay, I have a relevant question here about activities coming in from Instagram Live. Can you update planned activities? No, you cannot update activities, not update planned activities. You can create, like I said, that one-page addendum you bring with you to interviews. But after you submit your application, you're not allowed to change any activities in any way.
It's always helpful if you do have updates to your planned activities, just create yourself a little like checklist, or not checklist, but just a rundown, like chronological order of your planned activities that need updating, and take that with you when you go to your interviews.
Excellent point. Well, that is the end of everything I had written out here to address today in the time that we have. Of course, if you have any further questions, now would be the time to drop them in the chat. You are also able to reach out to TMDSAS at any time by sending an instant message through the portal. But first and foremost, make sure you're checking all of your resources for the answers to your questions, because those resources like the application guide and the video series that we have on YouTube has a wealth of information covering, I'm going to take a pretty hardy bet that covering everything that you may be getting ready to ask us. All right. Any other hot topics to talk about, Sally?
I think we covered all of them.
Cool. It's kind of crazy that we're in the same house today, but I can't see you.
It's because we're behind that magic mirror.
Oh, like you're on the other side. Yeah. Fun. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful for y'all today, and keep up the hard work getting through your application, and putting that time and dedication, to do it accurately, and taking your time to fill out each of these sections, and working on your letters and your scores and all those things as the summer progresses. So best of luck to everyone out there, and that's it for us with TMDSAS today. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.